Welcome, everybody. How you guys doing today? It's the Kitty G. I'm back again on another video on EGTV, and today what we're going to be talking about is a very exclusive situation where Edu Gaspar came out and spoke with Sky Sports. Yes, Edu, the technical director for Arsenal Football Club, has spoken to the media in a very rare case where Arsenal speak to the media about the situations going on at the club. He went into detail about transfers. He spoke about his personal role. He spoke about the mistakes that he's made around transfers revolving around Willian. He also spoke about rumors about Leno possibly leaving and him and the replacement being Ramsdale, saying he has a bright future. We're going to get into all this plus more. There's a breaking story this morning about Arsenal have supposedly agreed terms with Conte to be the possible replacement for Arteta, in addition to rumors coming out about what really took place with the Brighton transfer, whose fault was it that the Brighton transfer did not happen for the young Eddie Nketiah, the Palace transfer, why it broke down with Eddie Nketiah, and much more. So I know that the transfer window is over, but today's story is groundbreaking. Let's get into it. Let's talk about it. And you guys already know what it is. EGTV, smash that like button. If you're on Arsenal Inside Out Reddit or you're on my Twitch, check it out and do me a favor, support the thing. It helps the YouTube algorithms if you guys do smash that like button. It really helps push the channel and get more people to see what's going on. So if you do that for me, let's get today's video to at least 100 likes and let's get the show on the road. You already know what it is, the Kitty G on EGTV. Let's get the show running. Yes, Aslan, how you doing? And I got my guy, Zaki. Zaki, what's going on? Oh, Zaki does not look like he's old enough to be on here. Anyways, let's get this thing started. Aslan, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm well, bro. I hope you're good. Big up everyone in the chat, everyone tuned in. I hope everyone's well.
Everything's blessed on my part, man. We need to talk about Edu's interview with Sky Sports today, man, because this was very unlike Edu, unlike Arsenal, to do an interview of any kind with anybody of note. So today they blessed us with a couple words. They actually did this before the transfer window. I would have trusted them a little bit more, but the fact that they did this after the transfer window, and Edu came out today basically pondering things about the transfer policy, talking about their transfer policy and the direction that their transfer was going into. I understand that. And also he spoke about Willian, how he didn't feel like Willian was a mistake, but at the same time, the player wanted to move on. So he felt like it was best for both parties for them to move on. Not his exact quotes, but these are some of the words that he spoke about today. Also, you had a situation where he spoke about Arteta and the players. The main thing that has been catching people's eyes, though, that has really been triggering people, is how he spoke about transfers and how he spoke about fans and everything around transfers, and how he protected the club around the transfer policies and protected the club around losing the first 3 games. Didn't want to mention that. No goals at the start. Didn't want to mention that. He didn't want to mention how much money that was actually spent. He just spoke strictly about the situation that we find ourselves in, how it's unfortunate that we haven't seen the full team play. And it's just been a lot of conversations around that. And Edu today did the first of many interviews, I hope, because this was not one interview. He did 2 interviews speaking about Arteta, the transfers, and more importantly, he even spoke about his role and how his role is to speak to the board and how he's supposed to speak to individuals. And did you watch any of the videos? Because when I watched it, I'm not going to lie to you guys, it was very much looking like a guy who's under pressure. After an underwhelming transfer window, he was asked direct questions from a reporter, and he was speaking, and the reporter was saying to him, "You do realize you don't get time in these kind of positions in football?" And he's like, "I know that." And he was trying to work around the questions, work around the points, work around the players, talk about people in a way that is like optimistic. And I get where he's coming from. He's in a role, he has to sell it to us that his policy works and everything, but he's also trying to tell us we have to lower our expectations as fans. He was also trying to tell us that we have to understand where the club is currently. Oh, is this Miss Jones? Miss Jones? Hello, Jones? Hello, Meringue? Who's this? Hello? Okay, that person's not answering. But yeah, Edu did not want to. He obviously did not have anything to apologize about in his eyes, and he just spoke. He just spoke from his heart. But yeah, what did you think about the whole situation and everything that you've seen this morning? And guys in the comment section, tell me what you guys thought, because here's some of the things that I heard from Edu. Edu spoke about let's judge them when they play together. Let's judge the players when they play together. That was one key thing that hit me when he was speaking. Another thing was he's like hitting back at the criticism of the transfer being underwhelming. He said they had an outlined strategy for the club, and he explained the players that they signed and why they signed them. That's how he feels. He explained that to the board, and he has an idea of how things are going to work. Ramsdale specifically, he hinted at Ramsdale being the number one goalkeeper in a couple of weeks' time. So what do you have to say about everything to do with Edu and his conversation, Aslan? And I'll get to some of the comments in a second.
Yeah, I mean, with the whole interview, like I literally checked it out around an hour ago on the Sky Sports football YouTube channel, and I believe it was one interview, but they broke it up into two parts. I don't understand why they don't release the whole interview in one go. And he also done an interview with Arsenal.com. Like,
yes, he
this
did.
is another thing with Arsenal. Like they try and keep it in house. So like if you're really an Arsenal fan, yeah, or if you've got the Arsenal app, or you got an Arsenal account on Arsenal.com, that's the only way you're going to know about it, right? I don't understand why they don't upload it onto their YouTube channel and release it there where it's more easily accessible for all Arsenal fans. But yeah, I mean, look, as a whole, the one that he released yesterday on Arsenal.com and the way he came out today with Sky Sports. But then again, you know, like he could have probably done that a few days ago. But we all know how Sky Sports or these major broadcast channels work. They love dropping their content or holding on to the content and dropping them when they choose to do so. But yeah, like the interviews as a whole, for me, it's just all damage control, bro. I'll be real with you, because look, I explained the situation on how like the Man City chairman CEO, what he does, yeah, or what Man City do at the end of every season, you know, reviewing their season and what their plans are for the summer and the up and coming campaign, and compare that to our CEO in Vinay Venkatesham, that weasel, and I'll continue to call him a weasel, yeah. He released an interview, a 6.5 minute interview around the third week of June or towards the end of June, right? Like a good month after the season had finished. And he didn't speak about the Arsenal men's team or the Arsenal men's squad as a whole. And throughout the off season, the summer, pre-season, there was no talks with you know, or there wasn't a message from the club for the fans. There was no clarity. There was no transparency. We didn't know what was planned, right? And when you compare what the clubs who are on top, the clubs who are successful, how they treat their fans and how they keep their fans updated compared to us, we're run by a bunch of amateurs. Yeah, like these guys claim to know what they're doing. These guys want support and time from our fan base. But look, at the end of the day, a lot has changed since Wenger has gone, right? And I said this in one of your past streams, bro. A lot has changed, you know, from director of football's technical directors, CEOs, managers, players. One thing that hasn't changed is the ownership. That's the real problem right there, you know. And look, this guy again. Just back to his interview, I just feel he's a dead man walking. Yeah, he's on very thin ice. He's felt the pressure and the outrage of the fans. You know, because like, let's be real, Arsenal Football Club, they have a social media department, innit? They have, you know, they have a media team that analyzes what goes on social media, what the feedback is from us fans, yeah? And the majority, you know, through our time on Twitter Spaces over the summer, bro, like, I've been hearing a lot more anger and frustration and outrage than positive. And a lot of the fans who were positive, which look, I'm not throwing shots at anyone here. I'm not indirecting or directing nothing. Yeah, you're entitled to back our club however you choose to feel to do so. Yeah, but a lot of the fans, the minority of fans that chose to be positive or be patient and judge at the end of the window, are now feeling pretty much how I felt from the very beginning of the window. So yeah, so for me, again, it's just all damage control. And honestly, I don't believe any of it. I don't have faith in this guy, in his friends, in Vinay and Arteta. And I don't trust this Project Youth because they've taken a big gamble in only bringing in players in the age range of 21 to 23. And the financial investment that they've made on these players, who's to know when they're going to come good? Is it going to be in a year's time, 2 years' time, 5 years' time? We just don't know that. None of us have crystal balls. None of us can predict the future like that. You know, yes, some can be optimistic or most can be optimistic, but unfortunately, I'm not one of those fans. You're on mute.
Big up to you, Aslan. Big up to everybody. Big up Artekas for coming on. Yo, my guy, I see you in the chat. Keep saying what you want to say. At the end of the day, I support the club, and I'm not going to blindly support anybody if they're completely out of their depth when they're doing their job right now. They're not. They've shown that they are incapable of doing what we need them to do. So I'm not just going to continue to support them. And if you say we're in the mud, of course I'm in the mud. Arsenal are not doing well. If you're an Arsenal fan, you shouldn't be celebrating this. I don't get it. I'm confused. Anyways, we got Sean in the house. Sean, what's going on?
Well, we've signed Edu on 150. We've signed Edu on 150 mil. That's too expensive. It's too expensive.
There you go. Even Sean, who's one of the most positive fans we know, who said we would smash Chelsea 3-0, is saying this. Sean, do you think it's time for Edu and Arteta to leave?
I don't know.
That's fair. Okay, Sean, thank you for coming on. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you. Bye.
Big up, Sean, everybody. Big up, Sean.
Man.
Okay, so guys, I got some of these quotes, okay? So I have some of the quotes from the actual... Big up, Sean, everybody. Artekas, you there? Okay, so guys, I got... There's something in the background. Can you turn it down, please? Big up, Sean, everybody. Artekas, you there? Okay, so
Yes,
guys,
yes,
where is that coming from? Sorry, that was me. Okay, sorry about the playback, everybody. My apologies. Now let's get into the actual quotes of what he said and what actually happened. Okay, so there's a lot of people in the comment section. Lee was what? Okay, yo, guys, let's stop talking about other people. So Edu spoke directly about a couple things, okay? Edu spoke about Willian. He spoke about the whole situation with the Willian transfer and everything about the Willian transfer. So let's get into the Willian transfer quickly. When he spoke about the Willian transfer, guys, you do realize he defended the Willian transfer. He said the 33-year-old Chelsea, he said specifically, and I quote, where is it? I'm trying to find it as we speak. I'm sorry. I had everything in front of me and I lost it. So he said when speaking about Willian that he isn't convinced that Willian was a mistake. If his exact words was, if Willian is a mistake or not, it's hard to say. So am I wrong to say that he is in this whole interview today trying to belittle or trying to cover up or trying to say some things to cover up his mistakes? Let me get his exact words. At the end of the season, Mikel Arteta spoke to Willian and said, "How are you? I need you to be more consistent." And what is happening? He said he was not 100% comfortable with the situation at Arsenal. Tactical director Edu then revealed that behind the scenes, Willian wanted to depart from the club. They chose to let him leave the club. Now, this right here, we should have never signed him in the first place. Am I wrong, Artekas?
No, bro. I think, yeah, I don't think it was a great signing, but I thought he'll be decent. He'll give maybe 10 goals and assists this season, but too underwhelming. Now I think we should stop signing players from Chelsea.
You're on mute, Igo.
The Willian situation is very, very damning, right? But then there's even more. He went into the interview talking about the Willian situation and saying it was not a mistake. Like, I don't feel like he should have owned up to it and just said, you know what, it was a mistake.
No, but you know why he's not
bro.
going to
You
own up?
cannot say, no, bro. You cannot say like that. You are belittling the player. I don't think you would have said that.
Do you know why he's not going to own up to it, Igo? Because it's his fellow countrymen, number one. Two, they're friends. And finally, because they're represented by the same agent. Yeah, so he's not going to come out and out.
I don't agree.
Okay,
Bro, I don't think it.
You're entitled to your opinion, my friend. That's fine.
Yeah,
but,
bro.
I'm expressing mine.
I'll only make one point, bro.
Let him finish, Artekas. Let him finish.
One second.
Go ahead, Asma.
And that being said, you know, like in the position that he's at, right, and the spotlight is on him, the whole world or the footballing world is watching him, right? And because he's only new to his role, where like he's been involved, just over a year now, a year and a half or so.
Yes.
You know, he's not going to come out in this short amount of time and admit openly to the footballing world his mistakes. He's not going to do that. So you can call, you could say maybe it's pride, maybe it's arrogance, however you want to break it down. But yeah, I just feel that he's not going to admit and open up to his mistakes, and you know he's going to deflect from that. You know, and like I said, you know, the interview that he gave with on Arsenal.com. Let's be honest, the interviewer works for Arsenal, right? The interviewer who asked the questions that's released on Arsenal.com, those questions are not there to put pressure on Edu himself. Yeah, those questions were very carefully crafted and selected in order to just get the interview out there and just to let the fans know what the actual planning of this window was, and what fans should look forward to. That was the whole spin from Arsenal. Now, the one with the interview on Sky Sports, obviously he did get some questions that were tough for him, and I feel he choked. He like the guy just didn't know what to say. And yeah, like, you know, this guy, I don't know, man. Look, this guy is just the wrong person for us as a fan base to put our trust in, and for him to take us forward. Because the one key thing that I've been speaking about, all of these guys as a collective, in Vinay, Edu, and Arteta, they're all inexperienced, bro. Yeah, and this inexperience is going to cost us in every way possible, financially and on the pitch.
Bro.
Okay, Artekas, go
One
ahead.
point, yeah. So one point that I agree is that Edu is not the right replacement. We want a better sporting director, but there is no sporting director who will come and say that I made a mistake by signing him, because you are also belittling that player. No, so I don't think he will ever do that. No sporting director will ever do that. So for that, I think, yeah, it's okay, but yeah, he's not doing a great job, because we should have got some better players with more experienced players. That point I totally agree.
Okay, so I just want to continue with what he said. Okay, so he continued on in the interview. Guys, continue to give me your takes on what you think about what Edu said. Edu, when speaking about Arteta, I'm looking forward to see what this team does when we play together. Tactical director Edu said on Mikel Arteta he believes that the current team can still really do good this season. So what do we think about this statement right here? Let me get it up on the screen. What do we think about this statement right here? Because this was another one where he was talking about the situation, and he's saying, "Oh, I think we could do well this season." So I'm wondering, guys, when he says stuff like this, are you guys concerned? Is this something to be concerned about? Because I personally think we did have a 5 out of 10 window. We did not have a great window, but he genuinely believes this. This is what he said. What I put on the screen is what he said. I'm really looking forward to seeing this team play together. He's defending the situation that we're in. He still thinks that the team is good enough because they haven't yet played together in the first 3 games. Is there cause for concern, guys? Genuinely.
Bro, he's not coming and saying that I'm not excited for the new season. I don't think he's going to say that. So of course he's going to say this only, that I'm excited to see the new players. He cannot say I'm not excited. So I think that was a generic statement that he said.
Look, I mean, of course he's going to say that, because he was one of the key parts of being involved, because it's his job to do so, in bringing in these 6 editions and us spending just under 160 mil, right? But let me just quickly point out, in Tavares, Lokonga, White, Erdegaard, Ramsdale, and Tomiyasu, how many out of those 6 players do we really see like coming into the first 11? What, like, if all the players within our squad are available for selection? Yeah, for me, I only see Erdegaard and Ben White, and possibly Tomiyasu. Yeah, so 3 out of 6. And what did I say to you, Igal? I said to you, I wanted more first 11 signings over squad depth. Yes, the squad depth needs to be addressed. It's important. And we have, in getting a backup left back, in getting a backup keeper. But, and with Lokonga, who's a backup DM/CM. But again, we didn't get a starting central midfielder, and like, I guess it made sense in a way, because we didn't sell Granit Xhaka, and and in not doing so, we offered him a new contract extension. So by that suggests to me that he's in Arteta's long-term plans, you know, and by doing that, that automatically cancelled out any hope of us signing a central midfielder or a
Big up
midfielder
Thunder Roads.
that's going to contribute to goals.
Okay, I just want to say this, guys. Big up to Thunder Roads. I see you guys in the chat, fanboys of certain people, doing what you're doing. Continue to talk. And also, Chelsea fans, I said Odegaard was better than Kai Havertz, but I was trolling. I was not serious. I don't think he's actually better than Kai Havertz, okay? Just to let you know that. Number one. And number two, it was after Odegaard scored a goal versus Tottenham in the North London derby. I was just chatting shit. Allow it. Okay? It was a heated moment where I was just trying to big up my player and I got a little bit ahead of myself. Those things happen. Come
No,
on.
but
Everyone
these two players play in totally different positions, so I don't think you can compare them.
Bro, at the end of the
They play
day,
in
it's
different positions.
the people that are making them type of comments, yeah, are obviously don't have the confidence to come onto whatever platform and voice their opinions in it. So, of course, look, at the end of the day, us as all fans from all fan bases, we make predictions, yeah? And at certain times, we say certain things with our chest. Some may not come true. Some may come true, you know? So at the end of the day, it is what it is. And like you said, bro, like you said that at a time where we got a result in the North London derby and you were excited for our player who was a new addition to the team, you know? Yes, it hasn't worked out, but yeah, bro, don't get drawn out by these people, man.
I get this a lot. Apologize to Ligana. Apologize for what? The guy is absolutely not talking about football. Everything is completely personal. There has been no actual logical conversations between us. Everything has been complete, just cheap blows at each other. So why am I gonna, what apology for what? Like, I'm so confused. You guys are absolutely talking random. But let's get into this. Edu spoke about the transfers policy, and he said, let's judge the team when they play together. Honestly, guys, let's judge the team when we play together. That's what he's saying. He's saying don't judge his team too soon. Don't judge them yet. He's not trying to get him ahead of himself. I'm thinking, what do you guys think when you hear stuff like this?
Yeah, bro. I think we still have players to come into the team, so we have to be patient with that.
Okay, so you're saying be patient. What about you, Aslan? Because I'm thinking with the signings that we made, we were not prepared for the beginning of the season. And Edu is trying to cover up the fact that we were not prepared for the beginning of the season. I get that we had players missing. I completely get that he is right. We have not seen the team play yet together. But what makes you think that a team that finished 8th, that did not actually improve that much, is going to improve overall? Unless these players get dramatically better or there's some sort of change in mentality, I don't see what he sees. Do you see what he sees?
Bro, see, when we are at 8th position, we need experience in a manager or in players. We have a non-experienced manager, and the players also we are signing are not experienced. So I think we are making a mistake there. We should have got experienced players so that they can help the team, but we did not do that. So I think we have to bring in an experienced manager. Then only I think it can work.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay. And then he also said some other things, right? But before he gets any further, guys, do me a favor, smash that like button. How do we have only 53 likes and we have over 230 people watching the video right now? That's an embarrassment. Come on, guys, you can do a lot better than that. I can see.
And Igal, I just want to add one thing, yeah. Look, in that quote, let's judge, yeah.
Yeah.
Arsenal love to use those two words when it comes to judge us at the end of the season, judge us at the end of the window. Let's judge, and now it's let's judge the team or the players that we brought in once they play together. Like, who do they think they're fooling, man? Do you know what I mean? Like, bro, in our last 3 signings, did we not make those last 3 signings once the season had kicked off? Yeah, that we just lost to Brentford 2-0 away in our opening game of the season, and then in the new week where the protest was planned, around what was it, midweek, we announced Erdegaard, and then a few hours later Ramsdale in the day, or was it the next day? I can't remember exactly, but it was that week, and it was all because of what the planned protest was circulating on social media, or specifically Twitter. They knew that they had to bring out something, just like what they done with in spreading out the announcement between when they announced Arthur Okonkwo, and then a full 2+ weeks they announced Emil Smith Rowe. And within that period, Igal, there was bare talk or bare reports or links about Aston Villa being interested in Emil Smith Rowe. None of that should have come to light. None of that should have been allowed to be reported, published, or discussed or debated at all. When I highlighted the images of what this fraud was wearing, from 2 weeks previous, and wearing the same clothes or the same suit, people laughed at me, bro, for pointing that out. So quite easily they could have announced both of those signings on the same day and not allowed it to run for 2 weeks. Bro, us fans do not make our football club a laughing stock. It's the people that are running it that make our beloved club a laughing stock.
That's the reality right there. What you just said is the people that are running it that make it a laughing stock. But as a fan base, we fight amongst ourselves so much. I'm even part of the issue at times, because we'll have an argument over football and it will just turn into an absolute mayhem. And it's like, we need to stop arguing amongst each other and try to come together. But it's not easy when you have so much people with difference of opinions. Now, I got one comment here. I need to look at it. But before we do that, guys, don't forget to smash that like button. What do we have right now? We have 66 likes. We have almost 300 people in the chat. You guys drive that like up. It definitely helps the channel and helps me out a lot. I appreciate you guys, and do this for me. It will help me out a lot. Appreciate it, guys. Now let's continue. Igal, we must be honest. This fan base is way too easy to please. It's part of the problem. I completely agree. But if he would have said this, if he would have given us this interview from the beginning of the window, it would have been a lot easier. Now that he's done it after he's seen all the criticism, it doesn't make sense. He's covering up something. It's trying to protect himself, trying to protect his co-workers. He's trying to protect his job. He's trying to defend the Willian situation. He's defending Arteta in this situation, and he's also defending Vinay in this situation, because all of them are culpable for all these mistakes that they've made. And this is why these interviews have taken place. This is why these interviews are happening. This is why these interviews are going on. Iga, how do you say Edu has no targets for the season? Doesn't make you more worried? 100%. Edu said something about, let me get this comment up. Edu is like a deer in headlights. He's clueless. In the interview, he specifically said something across the lines where he's not worried about 4th, 6th, 8th, or 10th. Even 10th. He just wants to them to play. Wow. Like, honestly, when I heard those words, when he said 8th, 10th, and all these things, I'm like, this guy's just lowering the expectations for the fans. He's trying to lower expectations. That's what they're trying to do, because they already know things are bad. They're just trying to lower expectations. The words that he was using, like, we have to be realistic. We have to look at our situation. We can't expect certain things. This is that. The way they're speaking, honestly, it's going to make me lose my mind. But let me just get...
Same with Vinay as well, Igal. A few days ago, Vinay Nketiah came out with an interview as well. I don't. Didn't we do a stream on that, or didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We spoke about.
You know, I'm not surprised on that.
It seems like the women's team has a direct plan, because the women's team have signed some top talents in Heath in Toby Heath and signing Nikita Paris. Those are two of the best players in the women's game, and in the men's game,
And
we're
that's all
struggling.
amazing, bro. That's all amazing, bro. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, you know, when I brought up the comparison between City and that interview with Vinay that he gave towards the end of June, where he just spoke about women's football, bro, that's all amazing. Like even though I don't follow women's football like that, but I get, I watch out for like results, like especially Arsenal results. But like general women's football, I don't really watch like that. But where women's football has come to this point is nothing short of amazing. Yeah, and it's only going to get better and better, and I'm all for it. But at the end of the day, like our main focus is Arsenal, the Arsenal men's team, because it's because of the Arsenal men's team we are here today as a football club, bro. You know, and for too many years, this club has kept us like beyond arm's length. Yeah, and like I just feel like until like we pressure the bro, it's only because of pressure these people are coming out and give every single time. If you've clocked, even when we first heard from Josh Kroenke that summer window in 2019, just before we announced Nicolas Pepe, bro, yeah, it was from the back of fan pressure, yeah.
Let me just stop you there, Aslan. Let me just go through the interviews, and then we can talk about the next interview.
No.
Okay, so in this interview, he spoke about the reality looking forward. This team needs to play together. Recruitment, we have a difficult responsibility. We have to see how everyone is as a group. Once again, saying give it time. We have to see how they perform. We believe that the team is strong enough for the future. My job is to sort out this period and the long period as well. So he's trying to add more time, talking about the future, talking about long term. Then you have the situation where he talks about let's not judge the play until the players play together. This is another thing he spoke about consistently throughout the interview. Now, moving on to the interview that he did on Arsenal.com, he spoke about this. Let me read what he says. I believe that we need to win games. We need a squad to be in a good position at the end of the season, because it's not only the first 11. Again, we need a foundation. We need players to play, and we need players to cover for the first 11. So he's talking about not only the first 11, but backups. He's talking about the whole squad being stronger, and that's what he did this transfer window. Also, he spoke about his direct quotes. Now, let me put it into context. For example, midfield, we have Xhaka and Partey. For me, Mikel Arteta does not make sense in signing another to be on top of them. If they are the only ones going into playing, it makes sense. That's why we chose Lokonga to help them. He's saying there's no need to sign another midfielder. That's why they signed Lokonga. He has Xhaka and Partey. It makes no sense for him to sign another midfielder. In my opinion, that was a mistake. We should have signed another midfielder, but here are his direct quotes. Let me put it in the chat so you guys can see what he said. Sorry, Arteta's, I can see Arteta's left. There we go. Where is it? Here we go. So now, this is his exact quotes. That's not me taking it out of context. Now, he also defended the Ben White signing and the David Luiz situation. Here's what he said on that. His exact words were, where we need to spend money big. For me and Mikel was the center back position. David Luiz was leaving. We needed someone who could come in here, strengthen right away, and have an impact on the team. The right profile for the short term, medium, and long term. That was Ben White. So when he said that, he's talking about covering up for the Ben White signing. That's another thing that he did in this interview. Now, the next thing that he did, he spoke about the Premier League. What did he say about the Premier League? Let me get it up. Let me get it up on the screen for you guys. Get it up on the screen for you guys so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Here's the next one. This is what he said. Why are we the few clubs around the Premier League signing one or two? Why are a few clubs around the Premier League signing one or two players. It's because they already have the foundation. They have the team prepared. I'm sorry, but the reality is we do not know how to create a. We do what? But the reality is we do not know what. I'm sorry, but the reality is we do not know. You have to create a foundation, and that is the reality. So once again, he's talking about the project, talking about building a foundation. He even stumped me there. I was confused. Like, what are you chatting about? But yeah, after hearing all of that, people in the chat are really going in on him. Let me just get one more thing. He also hinted about Ramsdale. He said Ramsdale is one for the future. He spoke about Ramsdale, and he basically said Leno is pretty much out the door in the way that he spoke. When he was speaking about Ramsdale, he was hinting about Leno, possibly him taking over Leno's position. You need to strengthen to be a very good team. You need players with good potential to be for the future. And I already know we have a good one with Leno, but we have a bright future with Ramsdale. Very, very interesting stuff right there, guys. Very, very interesting stuff right there. But yo, Azan, what do you have to say about all that? And we got my guy back.
Yeah, bro. I mean, look, for me, it's just all a bunch of waffle, man. A bunch of waffle, man. Like, bro, seriously, I honestly don't get who anyone can listen to that, or like for the people who watched it, or just listen to what you've read from, his quotes from the interview. If anyone is still backing this guy, I don't know. I don't know how and why, and
I'm not
for me,
backing him.
you just need to give your head a wobble. That's just how I feel, man.
Yo, guys, in
I'm
the
not
chat,
back-
can we stop talking about other channels? Like, dead the channel talks. Rance is cool. This other guy, he's a pussy hole, but let's stop talking about these other guys, man.
I'm not. I'll put this to you. I'm not backing him, but to
Yo, bro, your
other teams
your
are
phone's cutting
signing
in
2
and
or
out.
3 players because. Sorry, can you hear me?
Now we can hear you. Continue.
Yeah. So basically, he's saying that if you look at the other teams in the Premier League, like for argument's sake, Chelsea have already got their foundation. We have. However, like I said, I understand what they're trying to do, but it's crazy. It really is crazy. You have to look at it this way. He didn't have to come out and tell us what the situation was. You know what I'm saying? As a technical director, you don't have to come and explain yourself of what the situation is. I'm playing devil's advocate now in regards to the whole situation. He wants this team to grow together because I think what he's starting to realize now is that the experienced players have let him down so much. He would rather go with youth, and then he can sell them on later on down the line. For argument's sake, if Barcelona, Inter Milan, or any of the big clubs come in and they want to go, they can get more money for them. I think the situation is that some of these experienced players, they've let him down. So that's why they're going with youth, which we tried before with our.
Bro, your internet's cutting in and out too much. I can't hear anything you're saying at this point.
Maybe try jumping out and jumping back in.
Can you hear me?
Jump out, jump back in a second, man. All right,
I'll jump
bro.
in. Yeah.
So just before we do anything else, when it comes to this whole situation, let's just try to move away from Edu for a second. Edu spoke about his role, but he also spoke about Arteta. He also spoke about some of the other people involved at Arsenal. So he spoke about Willian. He also spoke about Arteta. He feels like Arteta is still the man for the job, and him and Arteta work in conjunction together to make these signings and everything else. He never spoke about Vinay because I don't think there's any reason to speak about Vinay. He mentioned each signing, and he talked about why each signing was important, right? He even spoke about Nuno. He spoke about Takahiro, Tomiyasu. He spoke about Ramsdale and Ben White, which I already read out, and Lokonga, which I already read out. Odegaard, he said that they liked him already the season before, and it makes sense. Now, with all that being said, there's one thing that he said that really got me thinking. He spoke about Ramsdale and he said Ramsdale's for the future. That is a hint that Leno is leaving next summer. Guys, Leno's gone next summer. He's leaving. If you heard the exact quotes of what Edu said, Edu was very clear. Ramsdale's for the future. Ramsdale's the one for the future. Ramsdale's the one for the future that they're going to be building on. He's hinting that Ramsdale, for example, is a very good player and has potential to be a big part of the team in the future. He wouldn't say that if he wasn't hinting at Leno's departure coming very, very soon and Ramsdale being the number one. And this is on the same day that we find out that, guess what? From Football London, that Leno is linked to a move to AC. Was it AC Milan or Inter Milan?
I think it was Inter Milan.
Inter Milan. Inter Milan are linked to Leno. Coincidentally, the same team that was linked to signing Onana. So it could be that Leno leaves, goes to Inter Milan, Ramsdale's our number one, and we could still get Onana or anybody else that we want. And we also have another room for another foreign player. So it could be that we don't get another goalkeeper. But at this point, it looks like Ramsdale could be the starter and Leno could be leaving to Inter Milan. Are you okay with Leno being sold? I'm happy with Leno being sold personally. So people in the chat, let me know. Are you okay with Leno being sold? Let me know. Let me know. People are saying, when are you going to collab with? Listen, I don't collab with people that are openly. Nah, I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut. But yeah, let's keep it moving. Yo, what are you saying? Leno to be sold to Inter Milan. Would you take 15 million for Leno? How much would you take for him?
Yeah, I mean, like we've got to consider his age as well, Igal. I mean, he's pushing what? Like he's in his late 20s, right? So he's pushing nearly 30. And with him having only what? I believe, like with this season, 2 years remaining. Yeah, he's 28. So he's 28 going on 29. And with 2 years remaining, I don't, and where we are and where we've finished in the last couple of seasons, 8th back to back, that hasn't helped. So yeah, his value has.
He wants to leave as a free agent.
Wait, this can't be his last year in his contract, right?
No, it's not. His contract ends in 2023, I think.
Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, look, I just feel his value has depreciated a lot. And from this day forth, I mean, unless we get back into, say, like the top 4, that's the only way I can see the club valuing him or commanding a fee around the 20 mil mark.
Oh, no, he leaves 2022. Sorry. His contract ends in 2022.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, his contract ends next summer.
Well, there you go. So even with the new people in charge, I mean, look, obviously a contract extension doesn't have to be within a transfer window. It can happen in any time in the season. Once the season kicks off, it can happen at any moment. But I just don't feel with one, with him having 1 year remaining, he's not going to sign because we've tried to offer Lacazette a contract extension. He's declined that, and now now the season's kicked off. I don't see him signing one either. So yeah, look. Again, it's just repeated mistakes from past regimes. Like the club must have had plenty of opportunity to give him a contract extension to protect the asset, but they failed to do so.
Yo, Skills, stop timing out people, man. Don't time him out. That's my guy. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, so and yeah, I mean, yeah, so like we're obviously not going to be able to sell him or like we're not. I don't feel we're going to be able to get a fee for him in the winter window. we're probably just going to hold out for the season, and then he's obviously going to walk out on a free. And like, I just feel that us, even though we've invested 30 mil, and yes, I am going to say 30 mil because that's including the add-ons, and somewhere down the line we're going to be paying paying that fee off to Sheffield United. And like, I just feel that at the age of what Ramsdale is, what he's 22, 23, like, we need an experienced keeper. Like, we went from like literally two seasons ago, or even a season ago, from having two top keepers who were challenging and providing healthy competition between each other, to moving on, one favoured keeper, and then putting our trust and faith in Leno. But then within that season, he's become complacent. Like, his levels have dropped a lot. But yeah, I just feel we should move on from him as well. But again, it's an issue or a self-inflicting wound that I feel our club has created. And so whether it's January or come next year, we're going to have to bring in a top keeper, I believe.
Okay, that's your point. You think we should get in a top keeper. Enough about him. Anthony, how you doing?
Yeah, not bad.
Just before we move on, did you want to finish up on the Edu points, or?
Yeah, I'm basically saying that I'm looking at this from a devil's advocate situation. Now, obviously, Edu didn't have to come out and tell the fans anything in regards to what their plan is.
Yeah.
So you have to look at it that way. Now, I understand his point of what he's trying to do in regards to setting the foundation, because he said that if you look at the Premier League, look at Chelsea, they've only signed two players. The reason why, because they laid a foundation last season in regards to the players that they brought in. Man United, Aston Villa, Liverpool, in regards to, they've set the foundation already. For some reason, this is why I blame Arsene Wenger and Ivan Gazidis. We should have laid a foundation a while ago so that we're building forward. It seems that we tried to build a foundation. It doesn't work. We then try with experienced players. That doesn't work. So again, they're doing now another repeat of history in regards to building the foundation for all these players that we got to grow. But then you have to ask yourself, okay, if that is the case, is there players out there to improve the team? Yes, there are. Like I was saying to the guys earlier, Ward-Prowse, still at Southampton. A lot of people don't rate him. A lot of people do. So, it is what it is in regards to that aspect.
Okay. I'm just gonna move the topic on to Conte now. Okay, guys. Just to let you guys know, there is a story revolving around Antonio Conte and Arsenal. This part is probably gonna. You might be a little shocked. You might be a little bit blown away. You might not believe it. But what I'm finding is I've looked into this a little bit deeper to find where the source of the original story is. Just 1 second. Let me just double check that again to make sure I have the source of the original story. So the rumor has it is Antonio Conte and Arsenal have spoken, and there is a deal in place for Antonio Conte to replace Arteta if possible. This is coming from the Portuguese outlet Todo Sport. Let me just find it. So this is a Portuguese outlet. Where is it? What's it called? Let me read it out. I forget how to pronounce this team. This news article.
Todophages.
They're reporting.
You got auto-tune Steve, mate.
Yeah, so they're reporting. So Totophages are reporting that Antonio Conte to Arsenal is one step closer. Now, I know this source is not the most reliable source, but they're the same source that first came out with Leicester were looking to give Maddison a new deal, and that turned out to be true. So it could be that this source is not the most reliable source. But of course, what we do here at my channel is we look at stories and we see the truth and the reality of if it's real or if it's not real. Now, let's look at this. What they're saying is that Arsenal have agreed to a principal deal for Antonio Conte. If that is true, and Arsenal have agreed to a principal deal for Antonio Conte, that is exciting news. Let's be real. We cannot, as much as we're angry about everything, if it is true that Arsenal have agreed to personal terms with Antonio Conte to be the replacement for Mikel Arteta, I struggle to believe that Mikel Arteta has much time left at Arsenal. Because if they've already agreed personal terms, he would be in the job already. I don't think they've agreed personal terms. I think that they've touched base with him. They've probably spoken to him, and they're looking at their options if they're ready to sack Arteta. Because if he loses to Burnley or Norwich, as somebody said so kindly in the comment sections earlier, I think he's out of a job. I think he's done with that in that situation. So at the moment, Arsenal have reportedly agreed to terms with Antonio Conte. I struggle to believe the source is 100% accurate. Maybe Arsenal have reached out to Antonio Conte and are in the process of agreeing terms, but agreed terms is strong words, and I don't know how accurate that is. So let me make that clear. This source, and people, if you think I'm making this up, and people I see people in the comment section saying, "Oh, Igal, you're making this up. This is not real." Let me show you.
You're just reporting on what's being reported. Like, you're just bringing that to the attention of your subscribers. Yeah. So like, whether it's real, rumor, whatever it is, we're just giving our opinions on it, bro. Yeah.
Look at
Obviously, there's that age-old saying, "Don't believe in everything you read." Yes, and with it being a Portuguese publication, to be honest, I don't feel it holds any weight whatsoever. If it was an Italian publication, maybe I would have entertained it. But it being a Portuguese one, I just feel it's fake. But I mean, look, just for the sake of the stream, and you brought it up, it's one of the talking points.
Is it fake news or real news, first of all?
Like I said, because it's a Portuguese publication, I feel it's fake. Don't get me wrong. I want to believe that it's true that Arsenal have made the approach and spoken to him. But, if we are entertaining it, what? So from the back of that report, is the club going to give Arteta the month of September? Is the club only going to give him the next 4 fixtures? Against Norwich, Burnley, Wimbledon in the Carling Cup, and then the North London derby.
Let me read it. So the report claims that Arsenal are in place to sign world-class manager Antonio Conte to take charge in October. Arsenal are reportedly agreed terms with Antonio Conte as Arteta is struggling to find form at the beginning of the season. Arsenal, the Gunners currently sit in the 20th place in the Premier League after 3 games played, and the club have been estranged at the bottom half of the table under Mikel Arteta's stewardship. Edu and the rest of the Arsenal hierarchy shown faith in the Spaniard over the coming days, but reports question if there's any truth behind those statements.
Again, like,
Bro, I want to add one thing, bro. We have never seen Antonio Conte.
That's fake news, man.
Sorry, can
I? To say that's fake
bro,
news.
can I?
Let Anthony finish. Anthony, you said fake news?
Yeah, it's fake news. Like, they're sticking with Arteta for the time being. I don't see. This is what I'm saying. These tabloids that come out, where they're getting their information from? Have they, are they a fly in the wall at the Emirates? In regards to what the situation is. This is what I'm saying. Why it's fake news, which I don't believe. Like I said to you before,
bro,
it will give Arteta time. So let's say by Christmas, a lot of fans are saying yes that he will probably last, for the year. Some people say, nah, give him 5 games, give him to the Burnley game or even the Spurs game. If he doesn't, then obviously that's when the hierarchy will pull the trigger on him. But when I read this publication and when was that article published? Was it yesterday or was it today?
Say it again?
When was that article published? Was it today?
Today.
Right, okay. So business closes. Yeah, it's fake news. You know what I'm saying? Where they're getting the reports from, like, no one's at the Arsenal office today. You know what I'm saying? Like, where these Portuguese people getting their information from? Where's their source? You know what I'm saying? It's just speculation at the present moment. Hearsay speculation. They're running with something which hasn't got no content to it. So that's why I say it's fake news.
Okay. What about yourself, Arteta?
Bro, I would like to say one thing, that we have seen that Antonio Conte has never taken any team after the season has started. He always wants to start fresh. So I think we have to do what Chelsea did it back in 2016, where they appointed him as the new manager, I think in the month of January, and said that he'll take over after the Euros. I think we have to do something like that.
Okay. Fair. Enough said. So everyone's saying fake news. Now, enough about that then. If that's fake news, there's nothing really to be said about that. But there was another story if you want to hear about it. I know Arsenal fans probably don't want to hear about Arsene Wenger right now, especially after the situation we're currently in. Some people still blame Arsene Wenger for the situation we find ourselves in. But you know what? Arsene Wenger had some words to say about why we should back Mikel Arteta. He himself is currently backing Arteta, and he's backing Arsenal, and he's saying stuff like Mikel Arteta can turn this around. We have to give faith to him to a certain degree. Let me find the exact quotes of what he said. Arsene Wenger on returning to Arsenal. Okay, so Arsene Wenger spoke about returning to Arsenal. Interesting. I thought it was to do with Mikel Arteta. Let me check. Oh, we got Nitish here. Nitish, how you doing?
Yeah, all good. I'm doing well. And yeah, I was just listening to your comments. Wenger did back him, but anyways.
Okay, so Wenger spoke about returning to Arsenal. He said, "I am 71 years old, given the club the best years of my life. At the moment, I am just a fan. Today is a good. Today the club is in good shape. They had 2 tough games against Chelsea and Man City, and the team has potential. I hope they can come back. I'm sorry. Today the club is in good shape. What does he mean by that? Like, is he trolling? He can't be serious. Guys, surely he can't be serious when he says that.
Bro, none of these people come out and actually talk the real stuff that needs to be said, man. I mean, this is unbelievable, man. Anyone to suggest maybe Wenger should come back as an interim? Look, it says it right there. The guy is 71 years old, man. The guy is past the retirement age. The guy is a multi-millionaire. Let the guy live his life, man. I mean, after leaving Arsenal, like, you could see that the guy is enjoying his life. The guy looks healthy. At the age he's at, he doesn't need to come back to stress, man. Let the guy live. This guy doesn't need to come back to Arsenal.
Bro, and I agree with what Wenger is saying from his point of view, because he does not want to put extra pressure on the manager. I think that's why he's doing this.
Yeah. He's back in Arteta.
Of course he is, bro, because it was under him. Arteta was the captain. Of course he's going to back him.
Yeah, bro, even when Oli wasn't doing well, Ferguson cannot say that Oli isn't not doing a good job, they have to change the manager. You cannot say these things and put extra pressure on the manager and the team.
Anyways, that was a different situation. Ferguson recommended Ole as well. So.
Oh, that is a different situation. You're right, because he did recommend him. But when it comes down to it, guys, is this relevant? Is there anything here that needs to be spoken about, or should we just keep it moving?
Keep it moving.
I just want to add a couple of things. I think what he's referring to is the first time in how many years we have been the top spender in the Premier League. Like, for a club that was not spending money, getting money out of the Kroenkes or out of the club for once and being spent on transfers. I think that is what he's referring to with respect to things. And the other thing is, at the moment, if you see, I get the feeling that there is more like Edu and these guys have come out and made the comments. Edu has made the comments, and it was mentioned by, I think it was Charles Watts as well, or was it Ornstein? One of those guys said that Edu and these guys, the hierarchy has this plan of building the team around youngsters. So for a long time, we were getting players who were like done and dusted and like rejects. But now there is a plan to build and move forward with youngsters, something that Wenger himself inculcated into the club. So if that is what he's referring to, those could be certain points that he's talking about.
Okay, let me show you guys something else. So there was something else that I seen that I think is worth seeing. Where is it? It's right here. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? This is it. So Richard Garland, who brokers players' contracts and ensures the options of an extra deal in each of the signings that we made this year. So are we running the club a little bit better when it comes to contracts for new signings, or do you still think is the jury still out on Richard Garlick? Because I see people making fun of Richard Garlick now. We can't really make fun of him. The PR is taking pressure off. Yeah, I completely agree, Vibes. The PR is definitely taking pressure off the club. So, guys, at this point today, we've seen a lot of stuff. We've seen the interviews with Edu. We've seen reports of Leno possibly leaving. We've seen from Edu's own mouth, he said Ramsdale's the future. We've seen stuff about every single signing. We've seen stuff about Arteta himself being under pressure. Rumors that Conte will be coming in. Also, Eddie Nketiah spoke about himself and how he possibly could have had the move to Brighton happen. He wanted it to happen, but they never actually met at the table. It was weird. So, long story short, today was a very interesting day. What do we get? What do we take from today? The club is still in a mess. The players know that. The fans know that. And the board seem to know that. But how are we going to get? What do we get from today? What have we learned from today? I'll throw it to you, Aslan. What have we learned from today?
We've learned absolutely nothing, bro. Like, what have we learned?
So you're saying after all those interviews, after the club actually opening up and speaking to us, we haven't learned nothing.
Bro, they're all excuses, bro. They're all excuses. Come on. I mean, look, Igao, look, you've heard me say with the contract extension, bro, the contract extensions that that Edu was waffling about, yeah? Bro, all of those contracts that were offered from the academy graduates or the young players that we brought in, bro, they are the box standard of what any football club would do. Yeah? Like, do these people expect a gold medal? Do these people want a Blue Peters badge?
For what?
Yeah? Bro, the way I see it, everything that they've done, yeah, is minimum effort, bro. Yeah? Where was tying down the asset for Bernd Leno, Lacazette, yeah? Where was protecting their value from last year or the year before? Bro, we've paid big money for these players. 40 million, nearly 30 million. We've signed them on 5-year contracts. But again, we've allowed them to run down their contracts. We've allowed them to give all the power, handed all the power over to the player. So when it comes to negotiating a new deal, the player's not going to accept nothing. Look, in that interview that Vinay Sanlehi and Laura Woods was in, yeah, just over a couple of years ago, yeah, Vinay was involved in that interview, yeah. Vinay is now our CEO, and now under his people working under him, yeah, are now allowing current players within our squad today to continue to run down their contracts. Bro, this is unacceptable, man. How are we not seeing this? How are we accepting this? Yes, giving contracts to Saka, Martinelli, Smith Rowe, promoting Okonkwo, giving a fresh new contract for Tini. Bro, these are all easy things to do. This is what any football club will do at any level, not just in the Premier League or England, from the continent or international. This is what every club does, bro. If they feel that a player is in their long-term plans, they protect their investment. They give that player a new contract. Like, I'm sick of this praising these guys for doing the stuff that should be done as a minimum, as a standard, box standard at any football club. It's ridiculous, man. I'm tired of it.
Okay.
Got nothing else to say, mate. If anybody else wants to chip in, do so.
Okay, we have learned that we have no quality in the team and we are struggling to score goals this season. Another person said, "Be careful, Egal, you're going to turn like..." No, I'm not. I call it as it is. I say the good and the bad. I never just say one side of the story. Let's be honest here. We've learned that Tomiyasu is versatile and a good tackler. We've learned that Leno is leaving and Ramsdale needs to be presented to start playing now. I agree with that. I completely agree with that. I'll throw it to you, Nitish. What did we learn from today's interviews?
None of them are worried about their jobs. First, they are confident they are going to be here at the club. If they thought that the fans thought that these guys would be threatened because fans are saying Edu out, Arteta out, or whoever out on social media platforms, it doesn't worry them at all. They feel confident that they are here for at least maybe 2 more years. At least Arteta is. So I think Edu still has his job. The other thing is they are confident about what they are doing. No matter how much criticism they might be getting, they are confident about the direction that they're moving in. And if one goes, the entire unit goes. If no one goes, I mean, then like they cannot sack just one person here, because like as mentioned by Edu as well, that it's come out that the entire plan is coming in from all of them. It's not just Arteta's plan. It's not just one person's plan. So if one goes, the entire unit goes. If no one goes, then everyone stays. So that is another thing. I don't think Vinay is even in the conversation right now for a sack. It's either Edu or Arteta, and or both of them together. Richard Garlick has been protected again because I don't see him coming out and saying anything, even though he was supposed to be doing a lot of things in this transfer window. There were so many expectations, and someone is saying Edu's trying to save his job. I don't think so. If he was scared, he would probably like not face the media. He said it confidently that we enjoy the pressure and we want to work in the pressure. I think that was one of his quotes as well. So we are not worried about it. And overall, with respect to the extensions and signings, I think one mistake that they have made is they have only bothered for the players that they consider first team players. They don't bother for the ones that they are like terming as rejects or not needed. They don't have a solution for those kind of players. That is one of the main problems. Their focus is only on the players that they are keen on playing, even in the first team or in the squad. That is why we see so many players being and contracts being messed up. That still hasn't been rectified yet.
Okay. What about you, Artekas?
Yeah, bro. If you ask me, then I think that the club is totally behind Mikel Arteta, and they want him to do well. So I think, fortunately or unfortunately, we also have to back him because I think the club won't sack him unless and until this losing streak continues. And I think we'll win our next 4 games, and then the ship will be a bit stable, and I think he'll continue. And secondly, you can see that Kroenke is backing Vinay, Vinay is backing Edu, and Edu is backing Arteta. So I don't think anything is going to happen. And even if we come 8th this season, I think the board will be happy with that.
So Leno signed a 5-year deal in 2018. So his contract's up this year.
If it's a 5-year deal,
3
yeah, it has to be next year, right?
It should be 2023.
No, 2 years, 2 more years.
Okay. And then Anthony, final thoughts.
in regards to the whole situation, like I said, I'm playing devil's advocate because I can see what they're trying to do. However, we just have to wait and see what happens. If once the whole team are back, they're integrated, if nothing happens, then it looks like, if Arteta does leave and Eddie does leave, it proves that they're not the right people, they're not the right personnel to take the team forwards. This team are arguably, we could arguably finish in the top half of the table, but it's the mentality, it's what has been said to them when they go down. It's like their heads drop. Some games we saw it last season where the heads were, there was a fight, but it's not consistent, which is my issue. They need to be consistent on and off the field. Like I said, I'm looking at this from different angles and different perspectives in regards to what Edu said. Some things I don't agree with what he's saying in regards to, contract signing of Smither and that. Like AK said, that should have been done already. When we shouldn't have Aston Villa trying to sniff around our players because they've already got Emi Martinez.
Okay.
We should have tied them. We should have tied those guys up a long time ago. It shouldn't get to that stage where teams below us are trying to sign our players. It shouldn't have got to that. But like I said, we just have to wait and see now what happens. The Norwich game, the Burnley game, the Spurs game, and take it from there and judge once the team is. Then we can see what he's talking about. But him saying he doesn't care where they finish, that was a bit of a concern. Like 10th, 8th, 4th, and all them. That did worry me a bit, because that just shows that, okay, your goal is to watch all of them play together and see what happens. But are you just taking a gamble to say all of them will gel and we will move up the table? Raises questions.
Definitely. Okay, Anthony, Nitish, Arteta, big up to everybody. Let's just go through some of the questions before we go through. So I seen some points that were really good. I just wanted to touch on quickly. So someone here said, we have learned that Arteta wanted to save his job. I agree. Some people also saying Arteta is not under pressure. So do we think Arteta and Edu did this because they're under pressure, or they're not under pressure? Which one would you say it is? Because I think they're under pressure. That's why they did it.
I think it is more to do with the fact that they don't want the fans turning on these kids like immediately, even if they lose a game or something like that. Like at the end of the day, whether Arteta stays or Edu stays at the club or not, these kids are going to be at the club for at least maybe 3 or 4 years now, because all of them are like young players and they will be developing at the club. So I think it is a bit more to protect the young kids and some of these talents that could be long-term assets to the club. So it could be an entire club thing where they have been also told that you go out and send this message in advance so that people don't start attacking these young kids.
Okay. Somebody said the interview was a disaster. Edu said he was in no position. He has no position. He's aiming for. He also said that he's buying for the future, which means Arteta is on his way, because Arteta is on borrowed time. Under pressure like logic. Under pressure like logic. Under pressure pushing down on me. Where's GX? Did I miss any crying about Guendouzi and Saliba? No, Gunnar Express didn't show up right now. Mustafa CR7 is what? Okay. Sack Arteta at 8 p.m. I don't think Arteta is getting sacked today, man. Let's be real. If he was going to get sacked, he would have got sacked after the Man City game. But yeah, guys, this has been great. Appreciate everyone for the support. You know what? I'll be back again with another video Wednesday or Tuesday, depending on what's going on. But I won't be doing a video tomorrow or Monday unless something crazy happens like today. But yeah, smash that like button, guys, if you haven't already done so. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new, and have yourselves a wonderful day, everyone, on Arsenal Inside Out, and on my YouTube channel and on my Twitch channel.